Forests cover 1/3 of our planet's land, and they are an important and complex source of life. Ecuador has more than 12 million hectares of native forest that represents about 45% of its mainland. Its geographical position and the presence of the Andean Ridge, among other things, influence the existence of a huge forest diversity, ecosystems, and microclimates. Ecuador has 91 natural ecosystems, 65 are forests. The need to provide information for decision-making and policy development related to sustainable forest management in the country, as well as responding to requests to access international carbon markets under REDD+, have motivated the development of the National Forest Assessment. This initiative, led by the Ministry of Environment of Ecuador, with the support of the Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations, FAO, is also financed by the Finnish government and other cooperation agencies. For the development of the National Forest Assessment, 9 types of native forests were identified, depending on their climates, physiognomic features, and especially their potential carbon content. Over 600 hectares were sampled and divided into 636 clusters. Humans maintain a historical link with the forests, where societies are still shaping its natural landscape. Andean dry forest. Forest found mainly in the hollows and valleys of the upper watersheds because of the soil moisture and depth. Pluviseasonal dry forest. These are characterized by the fact that more than 75% of the species lose their leaves during the dry season. Andean montane evergreen forest. On this strip of vegetation, most tree species and lowland tree families disappear, and mosses, ferns, orchids, and bromeliads become more abundant. Andean foothills evergreen forest. This type of forest is characterized by trees whose canopies reach up to 30 meters high. Andean high mountain evergreen forest. This vegetation type is characterized by a transition zone between mountainous forest and paramo, appearing in isolated forms of forests in natural ravines or steep slopes. Choco lowland evergreen forest. It is estimated that here lies about 37% of Ecuador's flora. More than 100 species with diameters greater than 10 centimeters can be recorded in 1 hectare. Amazon lowland evergreen forest. This forest is highly heterogeneous and diverse, with trees up to 30 meters tall and in some cases exceeding 40 meters. Usually, There are more than 200 species over 10 centimeters in diameter per hectare. Mangrove forest. Mangroves are trees and shrubs that grow in coastal swamps with a high tolerance for salinity. Morital palms. This forest has a dominant palm species that grows on soil composed of organic materials that are slightly decomposed by water. These are important hunting areas where various animal species converge. The National Forest Assessment was developed under three components. First, the National Forest Inventory, which involves biophysical data related to forests, measuring variables such as characterization of the natural environment, forest biodiversity, state and forest disturbance, carbon stocks, and non-timber forest products, among others. Biomass and carbon maps show the biomass and carbon contents at national and subnational levels. Sources are taken from field studies and from information identifying potential geographical areas to store and capture carbon. Serves as the basis for monitoring periodic flows and balances. The socioeconomic component determines the relationship between people and forests. Using an innovative methodology for collecting information, this component is being implemented in the Sucumbíos province. The National Forest Assessment involves inventories, catalogs, maps, databases, and records. All of this data is stored in an integrated system for qualitative and quantitative information for further analysis and wide dissemination. The first national assessment is an enormous effort of 4 years and sets the starting point towards a vision of change where science, technology, the strengthening of human talent, and the bio-knowledge generated in the forests of Ecuador constitute and contribute to good living. Forests of Ecuador. Know them to keep them.